Hi, my name is Kristen and this is Grow, Preserve, Eat. This channel is going to be following along my journey towards homesteading. It's probably going to be a very long-term goal, so I just wanted to focus on some goals that I have for this year, specifically 2022. We've been in this house for about a year now. We have about a half acre of land. We are not allowed to have any animals, so it's only things that I can grow. But I did really well last year. I kind of learned a lot of the processes of pressure canning, water canning, doing some pickling and stuff like that. So this year I'm going to be a little more focused in my tasks. I'm going to try to be a little more organized and figure out how much I'm actually getting out of my garden and how much I'm actually preserving, what am I actually using, and of course trying new things to see what we like. So I have 4 categories of goals that I would like to work on this year: eat, grow, preserve, and then channel goals. So starting with eating, I want to find ways to reduce the number of times I'm going to the store. I want to find better ways to use the produce that's growing in the garden and incorporate that better into our weekly and nightly meals and meal plans. And overall just work on ways to use more natural, less modified, less whatever, just straight plain food, just finding better ways to use those sorts of items. So to that end, I have committed to buying or not buying chicken breasts anymore from the store. I will not be picking up, I usually pick up like a bulk pack from wherever I'm at that has a sale, and just using chicken breasts. As part of one of my goals eventually of homesteading would be to have my own chickens, and chickens do not just have breasts. I don't know if you know this, but they have drumsticks and they have other things that you are going to have to learn to use. And it's not that I don't know how to use them, I just don't use them as frequently as I would a chicken breast. So I have committed this year to only buying whole chickens and using them up in whatever ways I can, substituting in thighs and drumsticks and stuff in places, and just getting better at creating meals around the whole chicken versus just the breasts. So that's going to be a really big change for us this year, and I'm okay with it, and I'm pretty excited about it. I really want to get better at butchering my own chickens and getting my own meat. It also means that we're going to have carcasses, which they can then be used for chicken stock, which is something I don't really have a lot on hand because I never really buy whole chickens as a whole. When there's only 2 of us, it's hard for us to eat a whole chicken without it going bad or having to freeze it or do something else with it. So that is goal number 1 in the eating category. So goal number 2 is actually a little more of a documentation aspect of it. I am going to try and keep track as much as possible the things that I am buying from the store. So I have just printed out a spreadsheet. It's super simple. It's just lines. And on each line I just write the items that I buy from the store. So cheese, I've got like cheese, cheddar, shredded, and then the weight, because that's the easiest way for me to figure out in the end how many pounds or how much we're eating per year. So I'm going to try and keep track of that better. That includes eggs, sugar, flour, a lot of the basic things that you might be able to buy in bulk and keep on hand. So I don't want to end up buying a whole bunch of something if I know I'm not going to be able to use it up really in an appropriate amount of time. So this is just something that's going to try and help me keep track of how much we are eating, how much we are using, and what we might be able to replace eventually that is either homegrown or just get rid of completely if it's just not something that we really need that much of. So that would be part 2 of eating goals, I guess. Now moving on to growing goals for this year. My goal is to double my garden from last year. I had 4 8x4 beds. One of them was completely dedicated to strawberries and still is. So I really only had 3 beds 8x4 to work with. I have already added 3 more beds on top of those. I plan to add a 4th 8x4 and then a trellised or arched trellis bed that can be used for beans and cucumbers and things that like to grow up trellises like that. So definitely in making more or creating sowing, seeding, whatever. More food from the garden is a big goal for me. I want to really try and not use as much store-bought produce as possible, especially during the summer months. That's part of one of the goals. I'm going to choose whatever month, some month of summer or a 4-week period during the summer where I think that I'm going to have enough vegetables coming out of the garden that we won't have to get any from the store at all. So I just make that a 4-week period of time, say I'm not going to the store, I'm not going to the produce section, whatever we have in the garden is what we're going to have to eat. So that's going to be one of them. Just producing more, producing a larger variety. I really didn't grow broccoli or cauliflower or cabbage or any really big leafy greens last year. So those are all big focuses for me this year, to try and bulk up my stock of things that are really healthy and really good for you, that would be good for the winter. Another part of that is probably going to be making sure I can get beans grown. It's going to take a little extra protection on my part because the rabbits or squirrels, whichever one we have that's eating them, ate every pea and bean that I had last year down to the roots. Like I didn't get a single thing off of any of them. So I'm going to have to come up with a plan that is going to keep them safe so that they can actually produce this year. So that is going to be the goals for our growing this year. So on to our third section, which is preserving. Last year I did manage to put up quite a lot of food in our storage area. Most of it is canned. A lot of it was tomatoes. I had a ton of tomato stuff. So goals for this year will be to continue to preserve, but also to try new recipes and be a little more specific about the modifications that I make to some of them, because I know I like certain things and I know I don't like other things. So I do make changes to the recipes sometimes, just like little ones, like different flavorings or different vinegar or something, you know, just something a little bit different. So I want to get better at recording those changes and kind of creating my own recipe binder that has the changes that I like in them. So I've got like vegetables and just blank paper just to scribble recipes on so that I can keep track of what I am doing. I use a lot of the basic recipes, it's true, from like the Ball Book of Canning, the Complete Canning Guide. I do follow those recipes fairly closely, but I want to be able to figure out how much I need to grow to put up a certain amount that works for us, for 2 people. Like I'm not going to need to make any pasta sauce, pizza sauce, probably, or salsa this year. We have a ton of that. We do not go through it fast enough. We're literally giving a lot of it away. So I won't need to make any of those sorts of things this year. So as far as preserving goes, it's just going to be continuing to learn. I'll bring you guys along on the recipes that I find really interesting or that I really like. And then also doing record keeping as far as how much do I need to make a certain amount and what are we actually using over a specific period of time, so I know I have a better idea of what I might need to produce in a year. Last goal in the preserving category is to make my own cheddar cheese this year. I have done several different varieties of cheese over the last year or so, but this year I want to really work on perfecting my cheddar cheese. So far it has been very dry. I want to get the texture right, and I want to be able to produce it consistently the correct way, the way that we want that I want it to turn out. So that's going to be a goal this year. I have my milk downstairs. I'm actually going to be working on that tomorrow. So that would be the final goal in the preserving category. Lastly, we have channel goals and blog goals. So I do work full-time, and I am not super familiar with the whole process of editing and blog creation and things like that. So my goal is to basically produce something every other week in both categories. So 26 blogs, 26 videos. It gives me a little room if I am running behind or I have a really busy work week to do something that's a little less stressful if I just want to put a blog out and not deal with a video. I think during the summer as well, I'm going to have a lot more ability to video, so it'll even out. But the goal will be to make 26 of each and just learn how to make this process easy, bring you guys along, hopefully show you guys some cool stuff that we're doing or I'm doing. on the like a smaller scale, because obviously it's not a homestead. I only have half an acre, but you can do a lot with half an acre, and you can practice things like just to get yourself ready if that is an eventual goal for you, which it is for me. So hopefully you guys enjoy these. If you guys have suggestions or things you do want to see, please let me know. If they align with my interests, I am more than happy to bring you along and show you, and hopefully we can get some really cool stuff done this year. I know I have some things planned already once it warms up a little bit. I know I was planning on bringing you guys to show you the arch trellis build and the raised bed build, as well as the rainwater collection system that I have going on this year out in the garden. So that's it for now. Hopefully if you have any good goals for me this year, please leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys soon.